I don't know. I am not the official board president, so. I am the fill. You're fun. You're great. Oh, here she is. She's coming in now. Hello! Girl, you're good. Good evening. Hello. You're good. You need a pen? Yeah. No. Okay. All right. Are y'all ready? Yes, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. I got a report. It's good. Okay. All right, Miss Nancy, I think we're ready. All right, so it is, what day is today? October 14th. We're here for the October board meeting. We're going to start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're going to follow it with a moment of silence. Amen. All right, so I'm just going to kind of warn everybody, we've got a couple of people zooming in, so there's going to be a little bit of a lag. So if they have questions and stuff, you might have to pause for a second after your presentations to allow for them to speak, okay? All right, Mr. Martin, we're going to turn it over to you, sir.
All right, welcome to the October board meeting. It's hard to believe that fourth of the year is already over. First quarter is in the books. We start parent-teacher conferences. Well, tomorrow night at K6, so we're excited about that. You know, just thankful for the work that everyone's doing up here, our teachers and staff. They do an amazing job to make sure that our students have what they need. First up on the agenda is our consent agenda. Are there any questions?
No.
Okay. With that, I'd like to make the recommendation that the consent agenda, financial report, and board minutes of the regular board meeting held on September 9, 2024 be approved as submitted.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion? A motion. Motion by Jessica. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ryan. Any further discussion? All in favor?
You'll have to unmute to vote, please.
Yes. In favor.
All right, so that's all five of us.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. Up next, we are doing a little student success and recognition on our student achievement. The first person we want to recognize is Miss Ava Clark. She has been recognized as a National Merit semifinalist, and being a National Merit semifinalist, it's a prestigious achievement that it recognizes students who score in the top 1% on the PSAT. To kind of put that in perspective, each year about 16,000 students are named semifinalists across the United States, representing less than 1% of the nation's high school graduating seniors. In Arkansas terms, this year there were 135. So it's an amazing accomplishment, and semifinalists are eligible to advance in the competition for National Merit Finalist scholarships and receive recognition on their college applications. You know, I can't tell you how extremely proud we are of Ava and her accomplishments, and we can't wait to see what she does in the future, because her future is limitless.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Mr. Rob, do you want to add?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I think just as a principal, I'm obviously proud of her. I think as a dad, I would be super proud. But not only this, she's so much more than that. I mean, she has received recognition in track and cheer. She's a national cheer champion. She pushes herself academically, taking advanced coursework, and just a great student, a great kid, a great teammate, and just an all-around great student ambassador. So she's awesome.
Hey, Ava, why don't you come up here and we'll get a picture of you. Will that work, Annette? All right. Let me move. Yeah, no. Where you going to go? Right there. I'm just going to move out of the way so I'm not photobombing you. So now you got Ryan. Hey, okay.
Ava, would you like to say anything?
students' goals, what's your plans for next year, things like that?
I've been looking at a lot of different schools. I don't really have any set plans yet. I do plan to double major in music and finance, but other than that, I don't have any set plans.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Ava.
All right, up next, we have our,
Bye, guys. Thanks for coming.
up next, we have our CTE modernization grant, and Ms. Jennings, oh, there you are, is going to present.
I'm just stand here. This is fine. It's fine. Okay. I don't know what it looks like. Okay, so I applied for this back in the summer. This grant is only available to programs in the state that are considered H2, which is high demand, high wage. So there's only certain programs that could apply. So we applied for Mr. Davis for our Ag Power Structures pathway. All you were allowed to ask for really was anything that was not on your mandated list of what you should have for your class. So we went through the list and looked at everything that he needed that he didn't have, and it was around $3,500 worth of equipment. And so we got that grant, and I got together and got this all purchased. So they have new welding equipment, tools, saws, a bunch of things. I couldn't really tell you what it is, but it was on the list and he needed it and we bought it. And so, yeah, so that's been great. We've applied for 2 more grants, so I should find out tomorrow if we get them for culinary and for our medical students as well for some different devices and stuff. So fingers crossed for that, so that'll be great.
Awesome.
Absolutely, thank you.
And then I think the SmartClub wanted me to share some communications updates with you as well. So just to let you know kind of what we have been working on. So Bray and I have spent a lot of time looking at the website and what it needs, and it needs a lot of things. But really trying to work with each school and what they would want parents to have access to quickly. We still have one big thing I won't even tell you about. Just be surprised if you get on there one day. That's going to change, and so hopefully it'll make things really easy to find. So the whole point is like, what do parents need to find quickly? What do admin staff need to find quickly? And making sure those things are accessible. So even that little screenshot is just, we added a bar to each page where you could at least get to something from the actual page without having to go to the menu to go find things. So be on the lookout for that. So there's going to be a lot more updates and changes. We've also been building pages. So we've met with counseling team and different administrators and just talked about what pages need to exist that don't. So there's going to be a lot of things that we are working on and creating and putting in there. And then Coach Cook's been working a lot with our interns on just all different types of media. So they've been working on their photography skills. They've done some headshots. Right now they're working on some reels. We've asked our administrators to participate in some fun videos that we would like to post for October for Administrators Month. So be looking for those to come out as well. They've been working on posts for social media, designing graphics, doing a lot of videography, editing, things like that. So right now they're still kind of in the learning phase, but in the near future you should start to see a lot more fun videos, reels, things like that posted as well to help kind of advertise what we're doing here.
Can you explain kind of how the interns, what that looks like for their day?
Yes,
How
so we have,
Coach Kirk works with them in Greece and
yes, we have anywhere, some classes just have 1 or 2 kids. I think the most that's in any one period, it's probably 5 students, but they come here to admin. We have a room set up with all of our Macs, video editing equipment, all those things. So they come in each day and he kind of gives them an assignment. They're not always here because sometimes they're out on campuses taking pictures and videos and things like that. But yeah.
The interns are our students?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think they're mostly all seniors. A lot of them, some of them are finishing a program of study, like they've done graphic design, levels 1, 2, and this is kind of the end piece for them
Okay.
to get to come and do this. So that's a great experience. For
Yeah,
them,
that's
especially
awesome.
if they're interested in anything in that.
we have a new outside of school intern.
Oh, yes. Yes, and we do have someone from NWAC as well who was helping us. She's helping build some marketing materials. She's going to help work on a cat book type thing for us as well. So we've got her also on our team.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Absolutely, they're doing great work. All right, up next, we have our middle school presentation. They're going, the work that all of our buildings are doing with learning intention, success criteria, proficiency scales throughout the buildings and everything is really commendable, and it's improving student learning on a daily basis. So we'll go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Allen and Ms. Shelton so that they can share the great things that the
I'll have to flip for you, sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
Got a lot of technology going today.
So we have been dabbling kind of in some of the visible learning things and working on proficiency skills and things, but we wanted to make sure that we were really strong, had a good foundation in that, and move forward with some success criteria and things. So we're just going to share a little bit about what we've been doing this year. So one of our big focuses in starting this school year was our learning intentions, and that we took our proficiency skills and knew what our learning targets were, and our students knew what those were. So that's basically taking our essential standards, breaking it down, what learning targets do they have to do to make sure that they are achieving proficiency on it, and that the students understood what that was. So you can see here some pictures just from a few classrooms. They are posted in every classroom. We've done learning walks, and we actually shared with our staff today, we're at 100% in all those learning walks where these are in classrooms, so that's a great deal. But they put those up for students to know what their goal is and what they're working on for that day. So those are our learning intentions.
Okay, so the success criteria, so if the learning intention is like that target, right? We're giving the student that target so they can hit it. The success criteria is how we're going to measure where they are to hitting that target, right? And it's the steps. So it's just providing that extra layer of clarity. So our students know this is the goal, this is exactly what I need to do to hit it, and then they can have those conversations in class. This is what some of our teachers are doing, this is posted on the whiteboards, but it's not only that learning intention, but it's like, okay, so here is the target, and this is the pieces that we're working on today so that you can master it. And so we've seen this, but I think we had 90% based on our learning walks, where you can walk into the classroom and see in 90% of the rooms these are posted.
So we built a lot of this off of our proficiency skills. We are also adding student reflection more in. Our proficiency skills have those learning targets on it. It shows them what does it look like if you're a 3, if you're proficient? What does it look like if you're exceeding? What does it look like if you're close? And they can very much tell you, hey, I'm close because I'm not meeting this target. I might have the other 3 targets, but I'm not doing this. So it really breaks it down. I love seeing not only student reflection, but teachers putting that on there. You can't see it very well, but one example there is one of our math assessments where they had the proficiency scale on there, they were grading it on there so the students know, but then they've already updated their assessments this year and they've added in a student reflection piece where the students reflect, this is where I think I'm going to be on this is where I feel like I am on my learning targets, and then the teachers put their reflection and their grade on there. So then when they give that back, the students have the feedback, they can discuss why they got that. So we are really using those proficiency skills, and at our parent-teacher conferences tomorrow, the students have all their proficiency skills ready to share with parents. They have their script of, hey, what's my strengths, what's my weakness, what I'm still working on in each subject for this quarter, and they'll be sharing that with their parents when they come in for conferences. So.
Okay, but I have to, before I get to this, I have to tell you a story.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So we had a student, the auxiliary classes just swapped. So like if they were in, music or whatever, they went to PE. Well, we had a student in Coach Wade's class, and she was talking, like introducing she's like, this is where you'll find the success criteria and the learning targets. And the girl raised her hand and was like, we have learning targets and success criteria in PE. And she's like, we get a grade in PE. And she was just like so shocked that there was like actual like proficiency scales and success criteria for PE. It was awesome. Because we've been doing this work in like core content, but now that everyone's getting on board, just to hear those conversations is great. Okay. As an admin team, a leadership team, how are we affecting causing this change to happen in the schools? Well, the CLTs and the Guiding Coalition, they are collaborating a lot on what does success look like? What are my learning targets? How are we going to measure proficiency? So these conversations are happening regularly. Also, that correlating grading piece. If I'm saying that the student gets a proficient on this essay, would they be getting that same grade in a different class? So having those conversations, making sure there's that alignment, and we are really clear so that we can be clear with our students. And then as an admin team, as teachers, create a professional growth plan, and they're making goals for, you know, their learning throughout the year. We are asking that they're part of the clarity piece. So choose something that is kind of what we're working on with clarity. And then when we walk into classrooms, we can make sure our observations are aligned. And then just giving them that time to go into each other's classrooms and look for so that's what we're doing as the leadership team.
So as we walk through this and the students get more feedback, they are really more involved in understanding their learning, where they're at. It also causes some struggle because it's hard. And holding them to that high expectation, learning is hard. So we have started shifting some vocabulary. We're going to really work on our PD day on Monday with our teachers on how we're going to implement this of the learning pit and walking through that learning progression of if we're going to grow, like it's got to be hard. So how do we, when we get down that pit and we're trying to learn something new, where do we have support? How do we get out of it? Not only for our students, but our teachers as we're working through all this too, like where's our support? How do we get out of it? But we're going to put this to our students. And one thing that we really want to focus on is after we get out of the pit, you're always a little higher. We want to see growth, you're going to come out higher and above that. So we're going to be implementing that as we have started seeing that as our struggle area as we ask this from our students. So that's what's going on at the middle school.
Awesome. I have a question. So you said 90% of them have the, 100% had the intention, is that what you're calling it?
Learning intentions.
And then 90% had the steps to get there. When will the rest of them be up to 100%?
We are going to go back to success criteria on Monday, also at our PD. We asked them to really focus at the beginning of the year on learning intentions, making sure those are really strong for an entire standard. If they felt comfortable, start working with success criteria, and we've been working on that in PLCs. But when we have our PD on Monday, we will really be going back and focusing on success criteria, and that will be the expectation after that.
And the success criteria is going to match. So if you're in 5th grade science, it's all going to be the same,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes, and it really breaks it down in like, hey, on my assessments or on my projects, this is what I'm going to have to do to show I'm successful at this. And I'm
Awesome.
learning it. So yeah.
That's great. This is, I mean, you guys are a lot further than you were last year, so this is awesome. I like it.
Any other questions?
No. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Now we're up to the action items in our agenda. The first item up in action items is out-of-state field trip, or out-of-state travel. We have 3 groups requesting out-of-state travel. Our winter guards every winter they go into Missouri to do their competitions. They're requesting travel on February 7th to Ozark, Missouri, March 7th to Springfield, Missouri, and March 29th to Nixon, Missouri. These are the same places they've gone in the past and everything. They're not overnight trips. On, let's see what the next one is, our high school baseball program. Coach Easterling is requesting travel to Neosho High School on April 18th, and to Southwest High School on April 25th. And Ms. Jacobs with our SCCLA and Culinary Arts program is requesting travel to on October 25th of this year to the Exeter Corn Maze in Exeter, Missouri. Are there any questions? Okay. With that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve the out-of-state trips as presented.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ryan. Do we have a second? I'll second. Second by Jessica. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So no opposed.
No, ma'am. Up next is board transfers. Every month we do this. We have 5 students requesting transfer in. We have ample space in each one of the grade levels, and we have 1 student recommending wanting transfer out to attend Bentonville schools.
All
Any
right.
questions? With that, I would like to make a recommendation that we accept the board transfers as presented.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion? I'll motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second. Second. Okay.
I got Ryan for the second. He spoke first.
Sorry.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Yes. Yes.
All right, all 5 of us.
All right, up next, we are needing to change our November Board of Directors meeting date. I kind of put some feelers out to y'all, and I think we can all agree on November 18th at 6:30. Are we all in agreement on that?
Yes.
Okay, with that, I would like to make the recommendation that we move the November Board of Directors meeting date to November the 18th at 6:30.
All right, so we have a recommendation as presented. Do we have a motion?
I'll motion.
Motion by Jessica. Do we have a second? I'll second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't see Eric. He's the only one I didn't hear. Did he?
My internet's unstable.
Okay.
Eric, are you yes on that one?
I'm back, my audio, I'm back.
Okay.
The date lands on?
November 18th at 6:30.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Okay. All 5 of us. Gotta love technology.
All right, up next, we have a policy change that we're bringing to you for a first reading only, requires no action tonight. It's the facilities use agreement, and that's where we will have a fee where we charge certain groups to come in and use our facilities and everything. There's 3 levels of groups. Of course, a P. Rich partner. Absolutely no charge to up on that. Okay. A P. Rich group, we will have no charge to it and everything. Please take the next month or so, read over it. November the 18th, we'll bring it back for discussion and go through that. If you have any questions, please let Mr. Ramey or myself know, and we'll get those to you. They have worked very diligently on this, along with Mr. Hand, so that we have the right technology pieces aligned with that as well. Any questions? All right. Next, we have business and finance, and we have our bandstand project. The next 3, oh, I'm sorry, I missed one thing.
Yes.
We have our homeschool and community relations, and we have Ms. Martfeld, and she's going to talk about diplomas of distinction. Thank you for reminding me.
So, today we are going to talk just a little bit about the Diploma's Distinction Success Ready Pathway Guide. This is direct rules and regulations that have come out of the LEARNS Act. I was fortunate enough to get to sit on this working group last year for the state. So that was exciting to be involved in the process, and this is the product of that work, and it has gone before the State Board of Education and is now has rules tied to the law. So I'm just going to briefly go over that because we're going to be presenting it to our students at the high school and at the junior high coming up through their college and career readiness classes. And we'll also be doing some information about it, I think the junior high parent-teacher conferences next week. So just to get in front of you first to understand what this means for P. Rich students and all students. I don't want to really read this out loud, but I am going to highlight on some things. This is not an additional diploma. It's like an additional criteria to add to everybody's diploma. This is an option, so to speak. It won't physically change the look and the appearance of your diploma as you are presented it in the mail or when you pick it up. But these are distinctions that will be reflected. We don't know exactly how on the student's transcript as they move on from the state of Arkansas and as they've met the requirements. So let's talk about that just a little bit. The law is intended to really focus on the entering students of the 9th grade class of 24-25, which is this year's 9th graders. However, once I get through the criteria, you'll see that we'll have students already that have qualified for this just because they've been on a strong course of study or made some, just because of the rigor of the educational path they've chosen, or they've chosen, like Ms. Jennings said, with some of those interns to be completers and some things like that. So we're gonna have some students that meet this criteria, starting with this class of 2025, this year's seniors. You don't have to have this criteria. Everybody's gonna have a well-rounded diploma base, just like we're used to. Doesn't change the number of credits required for graduation or any of that. It's still in our handbook and our policy. This is just something that's an addition as part of the LEARNS Act. So let me get into it.
Is it going to take away chords? replace some of the cords that are currently?
No, it's-
Okay.
This has nothing to do with any of our practices and procedures and
Okay.
traditions.
Just wanted to
This is an
clarify that.
add-on. Now, we may add a cord or a metal or something like that. We haven't got to that yet.
Okay.
But knowing that it will be reflected is my understanding. Now, remember, I've told all our administrators all year, a lot of these things are, the law was passed, we've spent time interpreting the law as individual school districts, and now the rules are finally getting in front of the State Board of Education and approved, but they're also making amendments and changes. So what I tell you today is, if I double checked with the person in the state, I said, yes, this is presentable, this is ready to go, but if they come back next week and make a little tweak, we'll let you know.
Perfect.
Okay, we'll get it out for you. So, let's look at this graphic, what's the best way to look at it. Graduation requirements for all students. As we know, all of our students for many years have been doing student success plans with the focus on the LEARNS Act. We're ramping up our look on that. The state went to a statewide student success plan template that our students have access, grades 8 through 12 this year. And they do all that through their college and career readiness. You remember years ago, we added to our policy that every student takes a semester of a college and career readiness grades. We do the 7 through 12, and this really has been fortunate for us as a school district. As these things are coming about, we have a vehicle already in place to get these things. A lot of school districts are struggling to find the right time and place in the school day to get this to their students, so we're very fortunate to be ready for that. But in that green area of this where it says graduation requirements for all students, student success plans, we're used to that. They have updated the template, but it's very similar to the one we're been used to. We are focusing on as a counseling team and a principal team, especially grades 7, 12, to really access this tool more readily during conferences and career action planning as we prepare our students for career readiness and college readiness, whatever their path might be. So the next piece of that green is academic core courses. Like I said, graduation requirements have not changed. We're still at, our requirements as outlined in our student handbook for English, for math, all of those details, none of that has changed. What the intention is to allow students with successful planning and strategic planning to be more successful in their choices. And so we're really working on honing in the use of that student success plan to give the students, parents, those tools to maybe really know and explore the program that's available to them and be rich. Purposeful courses in a success-ready pathway. This piece is a little different. We've always had where students were eligible and took so many career-related electives. They just didn't have necessarily a purpose or a focus. The state is, through LEARNS, is really having us focus in on trying to get students like Ms. Jennings mentioned a level 1, a level 2, a level 3 in the same pathway. That doesn't mean that students can't explore other programs of study. Say you like culinary and you like welding. You still have time in your day, plenty of time to explore more than one. But really, we're hoping students to kind of get them through a program of study so they can really hit that readiness benchmark and be eligible for these next 2 credentials. So let's talk about a merit demonstration. So remember, these are add-ons. Everything in the green is what we're used to, our standard diploma that our students are used to receiving on the transcript. None of that changed. A merit demonstration, I'm going to read it word for word. Students who have exceeded standard graduation requirements to earn a diploma with merit include post-secondary credits, advanced placement, international baccalaureate, we don't offer that in Pea Ridge, CE, that's concurrent, things like that, etc. And there's some other options the state has filled out. We don't necessarily offer some of those in Pea Ridge. Credential of value in a high-wage, high-demand career field. Remember, we talked about that modernization grant, that agriculture power structure. If a student were to take, for example, an NCCER certification, and we're in that area, or an AWS welding, depending, we have a list that exactly meets that high wage, high demand, and it's a industry level credential, then they would be eligible for this as well. Does that make sense? So you don't have to do all 3 of these bullets. You can do a combination, but it's from this bulleted list for merit. Another is a seal of biliteracy. I know you've heard us talk about that before. We've had students who've earned their seal of biliteracy. So that's exciting. So those students, like I said, we're going to have seniors who meet this credential right away. even though this law was written to really focus on this year's ninth graders, because ninth grade is the year you typically start earning your first high school credits. Although we have many eighth graders, we have actually all our eighth graders earning their health credit, but you have many eighth graders doing advanced math, advanced science, and some other things to earn high school credit. Let's talk about the distinction demonstration. There's been a lot of talk about this, and some of the specifics are still being given to us from the State Department, but I think we need to go ahead and start educating our community and students on this and what we know. Students who have earned merit, so you've gotten your green, you've gotten your credit to graduate.
Excuse me.
You've done the merit, and now an add-on top of for distinction. Remember, the bullets aren't, you don't have to hit each marker of the bullet, you can hit just one of the bullets, or some may hit all of them, you just never know. Students who have earned merit and have completed an associate's degree, I remember last year at graduation, we had 2 or 3 students that had done that.
Yep.
An AICE diploma, like I said, we don't offer that, that's at Carnegie, very popular in the northeast part of our country and on the west coast. An IB diploma, International Baccalaureate, that's a program that's similar to advanced placement, just a different set of credentials. We don't offer that in Pea Ridge. An AP Scholar with distinction, we have many students that, strive for that. We have some that definitely do that. We saw a lot of 4s and 5s out there on their signs, and students that we see ourselves improving, and I think Mr. Ogden reported out on that earlier this school year.
Yes, he did.
And then youth apprenticeship leading to registered apprenticeship. So I know you've heard of our students, we have interns, and our media is a great way, our communications. Those are not official registered with the Department of Labor approved apprenticeships or registered apprenticeships. Those are more in the technical field, like welding, plumbing, construction. We have students that go to NWTI. Those are fitting that more registered with the Department of Labor. So I
Okay.
don't want that to be confused with, we offer internship and practicum opportunities for our seniors, which is great, because that gives them, most of them, to that merit of demonstration, but it is not the same as a youth apprenticeship or a registered apprenticeship. I want to be really clear on that, because that could be confusing. Those are registered with the Department of Labor.
Okay.
So that's just an overall good graphic, but let me highlight some things and then I'll quit talking. On page 3, pathways leading to state merit distinction. Of course, when we're presenting to students and families, I'm going to go into more detail on some of these things, but you can read, it goes into a little bit more detail on those things in those 2 blue boxes there for merit and distinction. I do want you to look at that bottom third of that page where it talks about those pathways right here for those that are online. Talks about these pathways. These are what the state has, and with the Department of Labor, has decided in the Arkansas Higher Education Coordinating Board. These are the pathways and programs of study that are considered high wage and high demand in the state of Arkansas. Now, these are eligible to change every year because, as we know, industry trends and things change. What is high wage today may not be high wage tomorrow. What's demand may not change. There are some things, for example, I would say that I don't see on this list. Hospitality. Hospitality in the northwest part of our state is definitely a high demand, but it doesn't meet that high wage in some areas. So they're talking about adding, just in discussions from the state level, adding possibilities of some regional high wage, high demand pathways. It'd be the same thing for the south, the south part of the state or the east part of the state. There's going to be industry specific areas, like for example, some things on the close to the Memphis side of the state over there that have some different industries that we don't maybe see here that wouldn't apply to Northwest Arkansas, but are high demand, say on that side of the state, things like that. So just to know that these are the ones that are definitely approved. I also want to point out, and I had something I was going to say, oh yes, I want to go back to this page and go up just a little bit. In that second paragraph there, in order to qualify a diploma with distinction, a student must complete the requirements for diploma with merit and complete one of the following items. I listed those, but go up to that one bullet before for merit. That 9 post-secondary credits are as another bullet that I don't think I talked about, and that can be those 9 post-secondary credits. Say I did a program of study in marketing, business, social media, and I did my 9 credits of concurrent were in college algebra, finite, and comp 1. Those were fine, so it didn't have to be 9 post-secondary credits in any specific program. That could be a student trying to get their first semester of college out of the way while in high school. So I wanted to make sure that we have any 9 concurrent credits. And we've seen an increase in our 9th graders taking concurrent credits. So I think we're gonna see that a lot more, students getting those first 2 semesters or even more associate degrees as we keep going. So that's exciting. And if you look at the last page I gave you, you see all those programs and studies that have the career technical education pathways. And then, but I also want to point out, to earn that merit and distinction, these are other programs and studies, just so you can see what equates to a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, level 4. For example, for a general bachelor's degree preparation there, they give an example enrollment of what that might look like. So that's a very brief description, and there's a lot of intricacies to this. I'm really proud of the junior high and high school team. I've been encouraging them and inviting them to meetings as early as last winter, and they were like, okay, we hear you, but now the rubber is meeting the road and this is getting into action.
That's
So I will
awesome.
do my best answering questions, but if I don't have an answer, I'll look it up and report it back out. There's a lot of intricacies here, but we're getting them out.
Oh, thank you for that update.
Yes, for sure. And I think I'll be working with the high school, and like I said, be at the junior high, doing an info session on this for parents.
And you're going to let the students know kind of where they're sitting?
Absolutely. Well, I think they'll be able to use their student success plan, honestly.
Okay.
And mark it off.
Perfect.
Using that new student success plan.
Perfect.
So that's exciting that they're taking action.
I like it, yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Martfeld. And the information like this is on our website for right
It
now?
is.
or-
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, let me ask Ms. Brandon's question. And, it is not on our website yet because we didn't want to put it out until we presented it tonight until the parents, so that parents had a foundation. Then we'll add it, I think, students are counseling page. You'll probably see it on multiple places on our
I
website.
believe we'll have to talk as a group, but it's already changed. And there's been several changes recently that I can't even tell you about, not allowed to tell you about. So it's kind of questionable. I mean, my last question, my last CT meeting was, when would you suggest, like if this is already in place and happening and is going to count for kids this year, when would you suggest we present this, knowing that there are changes that I don't think will be official or finalized until like January? So we may have to put it out there, but just some, like a.
Coming soon?
Well, we've got
Yes.
parents coming in.
Just so you know, this is going to change, not
Yes.
it might, it
It
is
is
going
going
to.
to, yes.
But the base of it is still the same. They just added some additional like features to it, so I didn't really get a good answer on that when I
Well,
asked that question, but
if
we
we
can
got-
put it out there because it's happening.
Absolutely. We got parents coming in for parent-teacher conferences. These are definitely good pointers to start
Yeah.
talking about.
I think that you can't, I think Ms. Jennings, I've been sitting in a lot of same meetings throughout the state. She just came back from the Career Technical Education Coordinator meeting, and we cannot wait, but we also have to know these are foundationals, and so if you're sticking to it, the intricacies may change with that. Mr. Riley, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so I love it. This is really, really exciting. My question is just curious. Do we see where this program is in place elsewhere? Do students go directly into a very entry-level position in those careers? Or does this help them get into a program in college? I think the assumption is what comes next is employment, or the assumption what comes next is college?
I think that it really.
Hey, Ann, can you restate what he asked for everybody?
So his question was, are these pathways and credentials set to either lead a student on a pathway of straight to the workforce or to like post-secondary enrollment in college or something similar?
Thank you.
And I think the answer is yes to all of it. I think that the whole intent behind this work with Learns is to really focus on our students on readiness. So whatever readiness category is their area of interest or aptitude, that we have provided enough foundation. But I do believe, because they're asking us to focus on a pathway, that students are going to have more credentials in their pocket to be workforce ready at a higher level than maybe just a touch above entry level versus before, where they were all over the place. Like I mentioned, they could take the 6 career electives in any field of study. And then on the second piece, I think when you see students looking at maybe for if they're wanting to do some post-secondary enrollment, either in a 4-year or 2-year institution, you're gonna see them, if they're striving for that diploma of distinction, that the research tells us that when those students are hitting those bullets, they're more likely to be successful in that post-secondary collegiate journey by hitting some of those markers, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yes, for sure.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Ms. Martfeld. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is exciting.
Like Ms. Jennings said, we'll be presenting the new updates.
More to come.
Yep.
And it will be every
It will
month.
be every month.
Up next on our agenda are 3 projects, and then a bus purchase for 3 projects will occur out at the football field and track. The first one is the bandstand project. Last month, y'all were kind enough to approve the resurfacing of the football field and the construction of the new track. The gray square that you saw in the north end of the end zone is concrete pad. Well, it's just concrete pad, the first bit, we need substantial to go on top of them. And so what we're requesting approval for is a bleacher system that will house about 200 band students. They have a deeper, the seats, instead of 24 inches, it's 30 inches in depth to allow for that. It has a 5-foot walkway in the back to allow for the tubas and things like that to be back there in the back. They're designed for band.
Okay.
And so, we're asking for that. It will free up seating in the stands as well, but it will also allow our band to be more of a focal point during our games and everything. Instead of being in the stands, they'll be at the north end of the field and everything. Talked with Ms. Thompson and Mr. Brown, and they're excited about it as well. So it's good stuff. 200, I know right now we are at, I think including color guard, we're right at 100 kids. And so that allows us plenty of room to grow in the future. I don't know if we can plan for more than 200, so. Are there any- Yes, ma'am.
No, this is great. I'm excited.
Okay.
All right.
With that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve the purchase of bandstand bleachers in the amount of $74,700 from Stadium Pros. And I forgot to tell you, they are part of cooperative purchasing. So, but they're the vendor that most everyone uses it around.
All right, and what was the total again?
74,700.
Okay. All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion? I'll make a motion.
Just one more question.
Oh,
I
okay.
should ask a question. How long is the warranty on this?
The warranty,
Got you.
there is I have no idea. I can get that to you. They usually come with a 1-year warranty. But what we do is we have someone come in and inspect the bleachers every year for changes. The one thing a warranty does not cover is, I'm gonna call it discoloration. In the metal, it has that sheen on it. In that sheen, it will oxidize. There's no way you can get away from it, but I can follow up with you on that.
Okay. I just know this is a pretty big chunk of change and,
It is?
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ryan. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
All approved.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, all 5.
Okay. Up next is a proposal to change the sound system at the football field and track. If you notice lately, it's struggling a little bit. It's 12, 13 years old, and I believe it is on its last leg. What this will do is this proposal from Commercial Audio Systems, who is also Tips Taps with Cooperative Purchasing, it will completely change the dynamic of the sound that we have out there. It has not only, right now we have speaker systems that are considered short throw speakers, they're for the home stands only. This includes 2 or 3 long throw speakers, so the entire area within our stadium will be able to hear clearly, which we are struggling with. This will also help not only during football games, but during track when we have the announcer saying final call for long jump, final call for whatever, they will be able to hear that as well. So it also includes new wireless microphones for the officials and everything so that we can have a better experience for not only our students, but our community as well.
And when we do the band competitions, it'll help with that too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay, with that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve the purchase of a new sound system for the football field and track from Commercial Audio Systems in the amount of $64,882.94.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
I'll motion.
All right, motion by Jessica. Do we have a second?
Second.
Was that Eric? or John?
Eric.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That's all five.
Yeah, I'll just jump in. Absolutely, yes. But Mr. Martin, I'd say that not only are they 12, 13 years old, which is a lot of wear and tear, something like that, but the technology that we have now, compared to the technology we purchased 12 or 13 years ago, it's a whole other ballgame. So this is very exciting.
Yes, sir, our system is obsolete. There's no doubt about that.
We couldn't make an upgrade. We'd have to do the whole thing, huh?
Yes, sir, we are experiencing that right now.
All right.
As for to finish up the project at the football field and track is a piece of paving. Right now, we have chat or gravel that is by the concession stand all the way to the indoor, all the way to the gate that the ambulance and fire truck come in and out of. The one thing with a polyurethane track is we do not want chat on the track, and it's not a pleasant looking, it's not aesthetically pleasing. I don't know how else to say it. So Geosurface, the company that is doing the football field and the track, the cheapest time to do paving is when you're already mobilized. So they came in, it's roughly about 4,800 square feet, and they came in at the price of $26,000. So that is a, laser grade, the base that we have now, and put a 2-inch asphalt base on top. So that is a very competitive price. Of course, there are parts of the tip taps as well. I was afraid if we go out and have someone else do a mobilization fee, you're gonna have to pay for that as well. So they'll do it while they pave the track.
Okay. All right.
Question.
Yes, sir.
So on your map, your picture.
Yeah, I should have done color, sorry about
Okay,
that.
so I'm assuming it's the black.
Yes,
Very
sir,
black.
it is the very black piece right there.
You mentioned concession stand. Are we not considering the area in front of the concession stand?
That's all-
Already asked.
That's already
all
asphalt.
concrete.
That's paved.
Okay, sorry.
So
No, you're good.
everything that is chat from the fence in will be paved.
About this square here.
That's just,
What square?
That's grass.
Okay?
That's out, there's the fence one's there, it's on the other side. of the
No
fence.
egress issues with ambulances with that?
No, sir.
All right.
Any more questions? No. Okay.
With that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve the paving project from Geoservices in the amount of $26,000.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
I'll motion.
All right, motion by Jessica. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ryan. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That's all five.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. I know that's 4 projects, football field and track completed, but it will change the environment there and benefit our students and community. So we're excited about that, and we are hoping to start construction after football season, kind of into November, December-ish, and get it done as quickly as possible.
And again, we're getting it ready for other sports that could potentially come in the future, correct?
Absolutely. It is
Okay.
striped for soccer and everything as well.
Perfect.
They are light gray lines. No, we did not go with yellow, but they're light gray lines, so
As
it wins.
long as they fall within policy or whatever the rules are. I don't know much about soccer other than nephews played, but as long as we're in the whole realm of it, that's great with me.
Absolutely. Next on the business side of it is a bus purchase, well, 2 bus purchases. Right now, we have 2 activity buses. We would like to go to 4. We would like to also look at purchasing 2 83 passenger buses. We do not put 83 high school kids on the bus at once, but what it does is it provides more seats. Those buses are about 6 foot longer than our average bus, and it will allow us to hopefully not only transport our football team, band, and cheer at once, but also cut down on the bus that's going out there as well. because bus drivers are precious, they're premium and everything. And we're at the point now where we need 2 larger buses when we're doing field trips. This will allow us, instead of running 4 buses on a field trip for a grade level, that we can run 3.
Okay.
And that's very important during the school day. These buses can also be used on routes that are a little bit longer, but they can definitely be used on almost every single one of our routes if needed as well.
Okay.
They're expensive. School buses have gone up just like every other vehicle. I remember about 6-7 years ago when we got a good bus with air conditioner for about $88,000. That is no longer the case. An 83 passenger bus comes in at $142,800. The other price that we were given was right under 200. Yeah, 193 a bus. So this bus is the same, I believe, the same drivetrain, transmission, all that we currently use. So Mr. Marion and Mr. Body can work on them.
That was my next question. Are there going to need to be any special parts or anything? Okay.
No, ma'am.
All right.
My question is, if this is going to be mainly our activity buses, and we have to have another bus that holds our equipment and such, like for football players, they have to have other stuff for pads, cheerleaders bring bags, band equipment. Is there an idea or a way that we can probably get one of those buses that have that undercarriage?
Well, these have storage underneath.
Okay.
I know you don't see it.
Yeah.
It's a black and white. Now,
Yeah.
they are not the storage of I won't say a Greyhound.
Yeah, that's what I'm, like, in my mind, that's what I'm
Does that
thinking.
make sense?
Yeah.
Where you can crawl all the way underneath.
Yeah.
It's not that. It has, I'd say, bays like that deep all the way on. But yes, ma'am, as we grow programs, we grow kids, that's where you get into, do we need another box truck? And we'll be making those evaluations as well.
Okay, because I mean, like that would save on another vehicle,
Sure.
but, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said 2?
Yes, sir.
So that's 285?
285,600. Now, the thing is, I'm hoping to get approval tonight. This will not be purchased out of this fiscal year. A bus is about an 8 to 10 month turnaround to get. So I'm basically asking for permission
To start
for approval to purchase, but knowing that we will purchase them in the 25-26 school year.
Which we already budgeted.
We will budget for, we will do a lease purchase program like we've done with everyone and make, do 3 payments and have them for that as well.
Okay. So this affects, no budget this year, it is next year's budget?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes a while to get a school bus.
All right. Any further discussion? Questions? All right, Mr. Martin?
With that, I would like to make the recommendation to purchase 2 83 passenger school buses for a total amount of $285,600 effective for the 25-26 school year.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion? I'll make a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jessica. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
All right, all 5 of us.
Up next, is
Can we go for a ride at the bus?
absolutely, you can be first one.
You just can't drive it, Eric.
No, we're taking applications for both. About that.
All right, I don't think we need executive session tonight, so we'll just keep moving.
Up next, I'm approving additional personnel. I've met with Dr. Bassett, Ms. Markfeld, and Ms. Burnell, and we're needing an additional special ed aide at the high school to help one of our students. And so it's much needed. And-
Is this a one-on-one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Mindy fights over my questions every time I go to say.
Sorry.
So let me also explain that with a one-on-one aid, while yes, the service is I'm taking care of Mr. Martin as my mind, but I'm also concerned other
Yes.
students that need that as well. But the main priority is one student.
Yes. Okay.
So with that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve a special needs aide at the high school.
All right, so we have a recommendation. I think Jessica had a
Yeah,
question.
Just one more question.
Sorry.
And so is this a contract, ongoing contract, or are we going to renew this next year?
Well,
Like,
it would be a contract for the 24-25 school year. all contracts and all positions are renewed on an annual basis, I believe, at the April board
April,
meeting for classified staff.
Yes, April. So we'll review and see if this position is still needed, and then we'll go forward with it.
Position Continuing next year, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We're a growing school district, we are not declining in enrollment, so yes, ma'am, I do see it continuing.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, with that, I'd like to make the recommendation that we approve an additional special education aide to serve at the high school.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
I'll motion.
Motion by Jessica. Do we have a second? I'll second. All in favor?
Yes.
All five?
Up next, we have personnel for resignations. I would like to make the recommendation that we accept the resignations of Lacey Hale, Laurel Stebbins, Dina Shelton, Robert Koch, Alyssa Bradshaw, Jamie Ball, Mercedes Sleet, and Carrie Jones.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion as presented.
All right, so motion by Ryan. Do we have a second? I'll second with regret. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That's all five. Okay.
And last, we have employment. I'd like to make the recommendation that we hire Kathy F. Valadares as high school math teacher and Robert Hosper as middle school custodian.
All right, so we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion? I'll motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Was that John?
I think it was John.
John.
Okay.
All right, so John second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, all five.
Yes, ma'am.
And I will make a motion to adjourn.
Sounds good.
I'll second.
Second by Jessica. All right, guys, thank you very much. We appreciate it.